Peace. Happy now. Now the vibrator course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, you could either have racism, racism in hospitality. Or should I say racism with hospitality? Or you could have social engineering with good vibes. But what I want to speak about is the irony of L.A. and the Cali vibe, but mostly L.A. in essence, and Louisiana vibe. You know, which I'm thinking about something too, like how I'm able to laugh at certain situations because part of us like I caught the vibe that some people feel like in order to really care about wanting to fix these situations, you gotta constantly be mad at the government to fix this. Like I can't stand what they do. Like of course, I don't agree with those things, and some things do. Like when I think about when I first heard one of these situations, kind of like grrr, like a little growl, vibration, but we're not trying to just be mean or mad just to be mean or mad, you know what I'm saying? Like it's again, that's why everything is so important about flowing from the heart and getting to a place using meditation to connect with with higher self, like clearing that egoic mind noise to be able to listen to the intuition more more fluently, in essence. But when I got back out here, man, and the other day my brethren told me about two situations out here that just kind of, it's like, very disturbing. Again, like, so when hearing this, is like, all right, man, that's fucked up. Like, I wasn't laughing in that moment, like now I'm kind of just, laughing at it because of the irony of it, but it's not nothing funny. It's something that we need to, work on and bring awareness to this area. But I thought about my brethren told me about how Baton Rouge, I was telling a friend in here, I was like, you could go give clothes, like, cause I remember being out here in Baton Rouge, on Sundays they had a little spot around North Boulevard, if you're familiar with Baton Rouge, like North Boulevard and I want to say Park Street, something like that. But it was where you could go and matter of fact, shout out to who it was, Ephraim, the tattoo shop. I know they were part of like doing the situation, but it's like feeding the houseless people and giving them clothes, stuff like that. But somebody told me something about like the BRPD like having a situation where not allowing people to give food to the homeless, because of what was the situation they said? Oh, because like you gotta have a license and stuff like that to give out food or deal with food in that manner, so you gotta have like a again go through our system. That's another thing it's creating to feed people who houses and need food. You know what I'm saying? You see how like that shit is ridiculous. But even telling me a story of a situation where somebody was feeding the houseless people out here with some gumbo, and then the cops come around, and not only and oh, that's what they killed me for, because they said you could get arrested. That's where it stemmed from. She said, "Oh no, I'm not trying to get arrested." I'm like, "Wait, what you talking about arrested?" Like, yeah, BRPD arrest you for giving, like doing like a food thing or giving that to houseless people. They're like, oh yeah, they'll try to arrest you as saying you don't have no no proper license or nothing like that to do something like that. And I'm like, bro, that is fucking crazy ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And again, that vibe of us having to pay attention to things, because if we was in the new age vibe, it would be, well, let's just meditate and you know light some candles, go play Kumbaya, my Lord, a few times in the woods, and that's gonna help stop BRPD from doing what they do. Like, Of course it takes yeah, visualizations with action, you know. But yeah, the fact that they, out here arresting people for, helping the houses, and you think about like what level of scumbaggery, because at this point too, it's like fuck it if I am talking about, somebody that's a police officer. I mean, at this point, you should know better. You know you being fucked up to people. Like anybody with a heart would know that pushing down, matter of fact, a big pot of gumbo that some some houseless people is, ready to eat. You knocking they plates out of their hands and pushing over the gumbo to make sure that they don't eat. As a certain law, and if anybody and they would feel like, oh well, that's to protect or help, you're a fucking idiot, and you just you just yeah, there's no place for that type of you know that type of bullshit. It's like no place for it. But again, it comes with awareness, us coming together and figuring out ways to challenge these situations. Not only metaphysically but physically, both. What I'm saying? It's a balance of the non-physical operations and physical operations. It's not just the visualizations and visualizing, seeing a certain thing that you want to manifest. You visualize it, the universe, all right, I see what you want, and then you take action from inspiration from spirit. Like, all right, since you want to set out this, then you need to talk to so and so who's a lawyer who deals with this and this, or you need to talk to this and that who's the alderman of this area in the neighborhood, so you can try. What I'm saying? It's like, again, first connecting with spirit, inspired action, in spirit, inspired. And then also my brethren told me about another situation where out here, now this not BRPD, matter of fact, I'm gonna say BRPD, Baton Rouge Police Department in Louisiana. And also, we want to talk about Louisiana State University, aka LSU, the Fighting Tigers, where they dealing with the cafeteria and the foods and stuff like that at the school, and a lot of stores do this still too. You know what I'm saying? But with my brethren, he was working at LSU, working in the food department, in which I had multiple brethren working in the areas. But he talked about how he saw they was about to throw away some good, nice little scraps. Like, oh yeah, we about to trash this. It was like, oh no, like, bro, they got the little houseless people out there, right around the corner. I could go get this to, and that's what he did. He took the food, and so he talked about, matter of fact, shout out to my brother. He was like, so he come to work another day, later, the next day or whatever. And he's like, bro, they like, y'all, man, you in trouble, this and that. And in his mind, he like, oh shit, they bullshit, because he knowing that I never really, and see, knowing like in the heart, like handing food to somebody is not something like, you're not thinking that you would be in trouble for helping others in a humane manner. But then he come to find out when they talk to him, like, yeah, but you could have got fired for giving out that food. He's like, he kind of laughed it off, and he was like, no, we're serious. Like, we'll fire you, if you give out food to houseless people. Like, and that's the same LSU that they were, which I done spoke about that too, because even the LSU library, the Middleton, I think it's the Middleton building, that Middleton brethren was somebody who, when LSU, in its earlier stages, he was the one actually kind of making sure that black people couldn't go to LSU, And as I talk about these issues, this is not for us. We speaking on like certain historical facts. This is not for us to be against each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause one of the little schemes of the government deals with is divide and conquer. Amongst peoples, So it's not nothing to cause a divide. It's just again just really speaking up on what's going down. Uh, but again, yeah, the library named after the brethren who adamantly want to make sure that melanated people didn't come to the school. And there's in the history books, matter of fact, by the Barnes and Noble LSU bookstore. But again, seeing this behavior from the RPD, the Baton Rouge Police Department, and seeing that type of behavior from the LSU system, it just says it speaks volumes, and actions speak louder than words, because here it is, like there's proof that my brethren actually experienced that, dealing with those people, and actually experienced of knowing and seeing that, wait, they arrest people for giving out food, but yet here it is, get on TV, the mayor of the, and I, not saying, but it's gonna be spoken of like as if everything's all good, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, we doing this and we taking care of that, man. We just love to take care of our community. I bet you LSU probably got on TV plenty of times and then spoke on how they love the community and love helping, bro. We just love to help. Well, why y'all and hear this old fake ass bullshit of don't want to get a lawsuit, this and that. How in the fuck somebody that's houses without money gonna pay get a lawyer to sue you? And a person that's sleeping outside, eating garbage and stuff that's pretty unhealthy already. What sickness could they acquire from your food that's actually probably healthier, what I'm saying, than the shit that they've been getting out of the trash cans and stuff. So that's a false pretense that they try to use. Like, oh, we trying to duck a lawsuit. Get the fuck out of here. And then you see it's all about money. And like, again, you see who really care, like Whole Foods. Oh yeah, vegan, this and that. But you lock up your garbage cans so people, and they throw away good shit like Whole Foods. Like, it is an irony in essence to make sure their stuff is fresh in the store. If something sit out just a little bit too long, it's like, ooh, trash it. But don't give it to nobody. We're gonna lock it up and make sure it goes in the garbage. Because another thing too, they don't want, and that's the big thing too for them. Because the food they got would help raise some energy up in people, even if it's something that they consider to be like, oh, we should throw away. Like that for some houses, people, that's like that's like a lottery ticket to have nothing but organic and vegan fruits or little vegetables and stuff like that. Matter of fact, and again, the irony between LA to Louisiana with that, because in LA, what I like is different. I remember being in Venice and some people had a little setup that they would do in their backyard where they had all kind of like little, like they had sets of breads, fruits, just all kind of different little foods, some organic and vegan, some not, but but it was for the houses people, and you would line up and you go through and get your little stuff, and I'm like, bro, that's pretty cool, and just all over LA, they have, situations where people, allowed to help the houseless, And I just again thought about the irony of, how like, oh man, in the South it's so much hospitality in the South, this and that. And which they again that irony, it does have a hospitable vibe, but it still, have strong racism out here, you know what I'm saying? Like racism or hating somebody is not really a hospitable vibration, but yet Louisiana is so hospitable. And I think about the same irony to LA, like, oh man, the good vibes, man, because even when I was saying, like, they got the good food, this and that, but even when I be saying, I be like, but, that's why when I talk about, like people asking about LA or Louisiana, the difference, or how, like, you come to find out that it's the same thing everywhere. It just gets served up in different dishes, skillet, frying pan. However, it's still burned. But in LA though, the vibe is like social engineering with the New Age movement. So you're getting fucked over with the race of the New Age Nazis is what I call it. Matter of fact, go check out my video called New Age Nazis. But you got that type of social engineering, but with the good vibes. Oh man, there's good vibes out in LA, man. Everything's smooth, calm, man. We just, you know what I'm saying? While the Satanists from the Church of Satan, the CIA agents running around that bitch trying to fuck with everybody's head and program, you know, and create a certain type of programming and you know, racism with hospitality, or social engineering with good vibes. You know, you want the knife, or you want the gun. But again, for me though, I like the fact being in Louisiana that it's less of the, you know, a bunch of, you know, just any in every kind of you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I appreciate, the slowness of being of our little country lifestyle, and you know, well, you know, all of their relatives kind of close knit. You know, we all know each other within our neighborhood, so there's no little fake Satanists that could come into our neighborhoods, or no little see, you know, like nah, we know everybody. And matter of fact, what's funny, even though it has a certain level of ignorance to it, you know, as far as just like labeling anybody, like say for instance, like you know, being in a small town, stuff like that, like we have a vibe where just anybody knew that would walk, like you'd be chilling on the porch and like, oh, that's a Fed right there. Like, you know, like we would be like, oh, that's a federal agent right there, like that fool a Fed, bro. Like we ain't never, but that's how our city is though. Like Opelousas, like bro, our population, we all been growing up with each other for the longest. And so if anybody new would kind of come around, matter of fact, like that's the dynamic, that's the social dynamic of being from a, you know, place like that, because you know you got the vibe of like if anybody new would come through, it would probably be like somebody relatives from, you know, somebody relatives come from another state or something like that, you know, so like we're just walking through the neighborhood, but you know it's like that certain type of vibe, but in a more intelligent way is, you know, so it's showing us kind of like, well, it's some truth to you should be aware of like who and what's in and out of your neighborhood and stuff like that, you know, or your community or your tribal area, you know, like, but again, you know, you had that vibe, but on the flip side though, you got to deal with again the extremely unhealthy foods, you know, the fact that a lot of people still don't, you know, understand the higher knowledge, stuff like that. And in LA, you know, you got the cause I'm trying to think where I was paralleling to. Oh yeah, like so in LA you got the good vibes of, man, you know, I'm by the ocean. There's mountains, you know, there's countless amount of vegan restaurants and places to eat, you know, is you know, people to connect with on a higher intelligent level. But then on the flip side, you know, just any and everybody just run rampant in LA. You know, when people coming at you, almost all every interaction, you gotta kind of have a strong discernment with your heart chakra and being able to really judge and be like, oh nah, this person seems like they might be, you know, like you gotta, you know, deal with that energy. Cause I'm not crazy as far as like I knew it's a faster paced city, you know, things gonna be a little faster, but you know, I guess because I'm now on my a spiritual journey on a level that I never really imagined back growing up. So it's like, but it's a different type of fast now that I'm, you know, spiritually, you know, more spiritually awakened. And again, remember, spiritual awakening, you know, connecting with our higher self is not to disconnect with our body, you know. And I had that so many times on, you know, my psychedelic journeys. It's like, let me know, like, bro, you are here for a reason, you know. And I think about my videos, you know, protecting me from hitting everybody with that new age bullshit. Where, because I think about something fast where I, like, and then either my words will mess up, I'll fall out of the thought strongly. You know, certain things will happen to sabotage the video to where it was like, oh, I just ain't gonna do it. And then looking back at it, I'm like, all right, I see it was high self, you know, trying to save me. And even in my videos now, where you'll see like the little points where I have like little Like, cause sometimes it do just be like that, little going with the flow so much I forgot what I was about to say. But then sometimes it could be like that psychological split. Cause again, with mind control, go check out my videos about mind control, LSD, MK Ultra. But they trying to split your personality. You know, they trying to create, you know, a split in your psyche. So when I'm doing some videos and I have like that vibe of like stopping and pausing while I'm saying something, it's almost like spirit kind of, checking a certain situation. It's like, oh wait, hold on, like, so that's why I have like those little moments in my videos. Y'all done saw me kind of like just stop talking and fall out. Is like, that little energy of making sure I ain't about to spew some new age bullshit that would fuck up the spiritual journey. Excuse my diction. But again, just that little irony between, the LA, California, LA, and then the LA, Louisiana as a whole, because again, you got the hospitable vibes. Yes, we are more tribal and homey. You know what I'm saying? Like it has a community. Because matter of fact, I think about Pimp C. Talking about like the way he putting together UGK music, like the beats and everything. He wanted to have like a communal vibe. Like, so even the beats are the type of beats that people could, clap along, like, and not church in the bad way, like, because church hinders, but just that communal vibe of us, just singing and coming together, you know what I'm saying? Like, but, creating, you see that in like the Southern music, in general, and that again, that feminine vibe more down here, and that masculine vibe, up north or like the East Coast, where they got the mathematics and the science, like the sun is 355 diameters and this and that, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to clown it as if that's not relevant, but again, it's that logical vibe, and then you got the more or less logical, just live and let God type of vibe down in the South, But that's basically it. Again, the LA show love. LA, they show more love to the houseless people. But then you got all these Satanists and CIA agents running around trying to social engineer people's mind. And thinking back to all of the people I would come across with. Like, matter of fact, out in LA, you come across somebody riding a bike, see but like they living off the grid, and they give Om hugs, like Om. You might want to steer away from that person, And you just you see in LA, you start to realize, like, all right, certain people wasn't lining up with what they said or claimed to know, because it's a level of like certain spirituality where if you know about the now, and about subconscious programming, and why are we talking about this right now, or why you doing this the way you do, like you could pick up on little certain inconsistencies, because again, in order to give out this information in a way that people will be unaware of, it has to have a little bit of truth to it, you know what I'm saying? And that's how they operate. They're gonna give a little bit of truth to what they're dealing with, but it's gonna have some disinformation, something is kind of sneaky about their vibe, but they're gonna give off this, or verbally give off these vibes of seeming like they're somebody, that you would connect with. We gotta raise the awareness on this. It's time to shake it down, like a pit bull guy. Shake that shit up, shake it down. Because the awareness, shadows are allowed to exist whenever we're ignoring, certain things that's going on. And that first starts internally, then externally, you know what I'm saying? And we dealing with both worlds, one is not better than the other, you know what I'm saying? Of course, our true essence of being is, infinite, but here in this human experience, we're here to balance this experience, and I always point to, You look at the sun and water, you know what I'm saying? Both of them, you know, could be extremely harmful when not balanced. You know, when balanced, they are extremely life giving, you know, but it's due to that balance, you know. Because I see how, matter of fact, they play upon the divine feminine, like they know the divine feminine raising. So what they do is try to promote us going all the way in the right brain. Because I saw myself kind of, like, matter of fact, high self kind of fighting me from going all the way off the bridge, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I would always kind of be like, you know what, you know, you got to use logic, but, you know, they use that divine feminine raising energy to, you know, try to trick everybody to just being all the way right brain. Yep, just be all the way, just not giving a, you know, like, and I say, the you know, the intuitive, feminine energy is like, don't give a fuck, but it's like, again, like extreme intuitive, extreme emotions, you know, not using any logic, you know, and that could be dangerous, you know. Matter of fact, my brother, we thought about the analogy of, like, you know, like a pregnant woman, like that's kind of like that feminine, kind of heavy on one side, like, you know, like, I want some Oreos and pickles. You ain't bring them to me in time, now I don't want to eat it. You know what I'm saying? And like, again, it's not, you know, much love and blessings to the beautiful queens for carrying our asses for 9 months, you know. But just, you know, joking about that energy, you know, it's like that far right feminine energy, you know, and they try to play, you know, play and prey on that, you know, or they have the setup to play and prey on people who over logical, like, you know, like, here we got a bunch of little books and stuff for you to read, you know, be over logical. And you start to see as a balance, you know, logic, intuition. Matter of fact, you know, thoughts, emotions, and actions. The you know, the Trinity, you know, thoughts, emotions, and actions, which the Catholic Church twisted it into the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You know, they like men. Not knocking people, not knocking people who do, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, just speaking of the Catholic Church and how they operate, you know, they like to kick the woman out of the picture. Just put it like that, you know. So it's like the Father, the Son, with no mother. It's Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Because, you know, the thoughts, you know, the emotions and the action, you know, it's, you know, that balance of the masculine and feminine, you know, in spirit and soul, you know, mind, body, and soul. So that's that balance. As a matter of fact, you see that Trinity in the Hindu vibes. I think about, you know, because that's also where you get Sarah and Abraham from, you know, but Maha Saraswati and Brahman, you know, because Brahman is an anagram for Abraham, and Saraswati, you know, you take the beginning of that, you get Sarah, and those are the two consorts dealing with the mind and creation. You know what I'm saying? So you see that connection with that, you know, getting that mind, body, and soul, which is again the Hindu Maha Saraswati, Maha Lakshmi, Maha Kali, and then from the you know, from the masculine aspect is Brahman Shakti, Vishnu Shakti, and Shiva Shakti. Shiva going with Kali, Vishnu going with Lakshmi, and Brahman going with Saraswati, or Abraham and Sarah. You know, and the goddess Saraswati deals with knowledge, music, arts, wisdom. You know, goddess Lakshmi, wealth, prosperity, fortune, and beauty. You know, so that's the body. You know what I'm saying? And then goddess Kali, destruction and pure consciousness, meaning the soul. You know, that true soulful energy. You know, ego death. Again, that terminology is not. We're not really killing our ego fully. We just, you know, taming the ego, getting rid of the harmful aspects of the egoic mind, you know, and not letting the egoic mind, you know, run the operation. You know, getting to a place of connecting with spirit, and allowing for, thoughts from high self, instead of like that fear mongering, or like worrying about the past or worrying about the future in the egoic mind. You get to a place of being in the now, and when you're in the now, you connected with higher self and source, and so your thoughts will reflect that energy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of that egoic mind energy. Because again, though, on a small level, shout out to Terrence McKenna on this. We need the ego just enough to know that when I get hungry, instead of putting a spoon of food in somebody else's mouth, I know that it's this vessel that's hungry. Like I gotta identify enough to take care of myself. I gotta identify enough to know to again, to not just, so say for instance, like with a Tupac or certain people where it's like, being a little too kamikaze in the vibe of spiritual awakening, waking people up, is like, all right, you got to protect your vessel to be able to, continuously, inform people. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important for us to, understand the chess game of what's really going on and the dynamics of the, again, that mind, body, and soul, and just everything that's going on around us, uh, has that importance. But again, that's the ego being healthy in that manner, again, of just, protecting the flesh and the balance, because that's not, again, I done talked about this in different videos. That's not saying that Tupac did anything wrong. Like, he was on his, he did what, in essence, what he came down to do. Because as much as we do have, will with, a certain level of, I say destiny, but, we have this will, like if something happens, like it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, not, but it's not to say that there's fate just guiding us all and that we're just doomed to, like, so basically I'm down here, not say for nothing, but like, well, I'm just down here to just go with a little plan and not have a free will to do this or do that. Like, nah, in essence, we do have a level of free will, where we willfully doing things on this plane of existence. Again, though, we just have like a certain blueprint of lessons, though, that we want to go through. No matter how we necessarily go through them, but we do have them set in place. So that's more of the the destiny, quote unquote, set in place. And matter of fact, destiny meaning destination. So it's like, I got a destiny. I want to learn this lesson by going through this, and I want to learn this lesson by going through this. No matter how I go through it or whatever, but I'm gonna always be guided to go through this situation, through the gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? Because I think about myself, getting in, like being duped just enough to actually experience somebody, like experience dealing with somebody from, the Church of Satan or possibly CIA agents, both, I was put through that to see firsthand, like, because and I got like a hard-headed vibe about me, you know what I'm saying, to the extent where, it's kind of like, all right, I want to really see it, and too, that makes for the truth, because now I cannot deny what I went through in LA, with certain people, and then learning what I know about Satanists, and just how the CIA just play around with social engineering and the Tavistock Institute. It's like, all right, but you see all of the correlations. That's basically it. I ain't gonna make this video longer than it needs to be. But peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, matter of fact, because I thought about, matter of fact, I never heard this analogy for the crucifixion of Christ. Matter of fact, shout out Mark Passio on that one. But like, and more so the crucifixion with the other, so I always talk about, so I never heard this aspect of it being said. So say for instance, like, where I talk about the two people that was on side of, again, this is allegory, But the two people on side of Christ on the cross during the crucifixion, one represented the negative energy flow, one represented the positive energy flow, or the feminine and masculine. But also, it could be seen as one representing the past and one representing the future. You know, and like when you're not being in your now, you're being. In fact, hold on, I gotta make sure I think I wrote this down. But it's like being crucified. Yep. So, matter of fact, because also the Ada and Pangala is seen as thieves in the situation too, but the two thieves on side of Christ, during the crucifixion could be seen as the past and future trying to steal the moment away from us, you know what I'm saying? Like being in that moment, you know. Don't let that thief, the past, or that thief, the future, take you away from your moment. It doesn't mean that we reflect on the past when it's relevant to our now, or peep into the future when it's relevant to our now. But whenever it's not relevant to our now, then why are we focused on the past, or why are we trying to be so, trying to do this in the future? By indirectly not realizing that you got a problem with your now, if you're not, like, if you're constantly trying to focus on I remember when back in the day, this and that, or you trying to constantly like, well, I want to make this happen, I want to make this, because you're not satisfied with your now. You gotta be satisfied with your now to heal the past and the future. To heal the past and build a future, you gotta be at peace with your now. But peace again. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, the rate at which we're vibing. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now. Peace.